it's not just the Olympics, like the race day, it's a whole Olympic cycle. When did you really started preparations focused on the Olympics, on Paris Olympics?
I think for me it was when I moved to the UK. It started really because I was like having a new project, and yeah, I think it was a new fresh start for me.
And I guess that after Tokyo, and despite that, I mean, you came back from Tokyo with the bronze medal on the mixed relay, but I guess that the bittersweet of the individual race. So was that like the day after Tokyo, or when you thought like, okay, next is Paris, this is going to be my games, or was it a little bit later? Or
first after Tokyo, I was like struggling a lot. So I think I was actually like asking myself so many questions, and I was like, okay, I think I've done my time in Montpellier where I was for like 7 years. So I was searching for a new thing, a new project, and it was hard to find because like I don't really know like what I was like searching for, what is ideal for me. And yeah, so like it took some time, but yeah, it took me 1 year basically to like find something I wanted.
And then I guess that probably the last year or the last 9 months leading up to Paris, was that the only focus of the season, or was it everything going around, or was it even earlier than a year?
I think I was taking like race after race, and then like in my mind I was still thinking about Paris, but I think it was stressing me more like thinking about this Paris Olympics, because obviously like all the pressure we had like from the federation, from like all people in France. So I think it was a good thing I was in the UK as well for that, because I was just in my bubble, and I think we were maybe talking less about this Olympics.
And of course you had the test event 1 year before, which I guess that also was not the best scenario for you, but what were your learnings, or how did you came back from the test event?
I think I was pretty pleased with my race in test event. I was saying like I realized everything I wanted, like I did a good race from the start to the end. The cramp little like issue was like, okay, I can improve that. How can I improve my cramp, because it's happening so many times in Olympic distance, and that's why sometimes I can't like run as fast as I can run on a sprint distance. So I was just trying to find a way like to avoid that, my cramp at the end.
And obviously the swim was a big factor in the Paris Olympics, and I don't know if you had swum before in the same river before the test event, or was that the first time that you swam over there?
No, it was my first time in a test event, and I was actually I knew it would be a very like big current, but I think it was even worse in the Olympics.
And how do you prepare, or how do you incorporate that during the preparations for the Olympics? Because I guess that in the UK where you were training, I don't know where you had a special training for swimming against the current? Or?
No, actually I didn't really like train for it. Like I didn't change anything about my swim training. So I was just hoping it would be okay on the day.
I mean, you have a really good background on swimming, but going to Paris and arriving in Paris, seeing that you guys were not able to do the swim familiarization, I don't know if you were planning on doing the swim familiarization anyway, but can you talk us a little bit how it was that walking in the pontoon, seeing the current, and then seeing Flora, how she swam in Paris?
Yeah, I don't really know what to think. Like we were hoping like for the boys to happen before us, the race. So like I was okay. I would just watch the race and like take some information on the main race, and obviously it didn't happen before us. So I was okay. I did it last year, and it was like going well on the swim. So just have to do basically the same as last year, and I took exactly the same spot, I guess. And I took a very good start, but after it was a bit more like complicated for me. I think I was like, yeah, I was just like a little leaf on the current going away.
Let's go a little bit before that. You were talking about the men's race, and and the pressure those days with issues with water quality and the rain and familiarizations, especially the swim familiarizations, being postponed. How did you deal with that mental-wise, or how you cope with that situation of the uncertainty of whether everything will be okay and everything will be as planned?
I was very confident to be able to swim, because I was like, there is no way for me, like we are doing a triathlon or something. Like, I was very confident. I was like, something will happen, we'll swim. So I was just hoping that it was on the Tuesday, because obviously on the Monday the men didn't happen. So I was okay, yeah, like I just hope it will happen.
How do you find out?
Was it on the Tuesday?
It was a Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Yes. Was it on the Tuesday or Wednesday? I can't remember.
Tuesday. And how did you find out that the men's race was postponed?
Oh yeah, I actually had some insomnia on the night, like before the men's race. So like I saw on the group chats, like at some point, and maybe it was 5:30, 5 a.m. I don't know. And I saw on the group chat with the French Federation that the men's race was like postponed. So I was, oh, that's not looking good. But same time I was like, okay, there is like, we knew like some rain was happening before, like on the weekend. So I was just hoping like it would be fine for the next day.
And then what did you do those 24 hours before the race? Can you walk us through a little bit? Were you staying in the village?
No, so we were not staying in the village, and I think it was a good thing, because I like taking that like just another race, like not making it like that important. Mm-hmm. So I think I was just like training normally, like really some easy training, and I guess I can't really remember actually the day before, but I was just like talking with everyone like in the French team and having massage, like quite a boring day maybe, and you're just waiting. I was saying I have enough of waiting. I just want the race to be tomorrow, because like I think I was very excited, like very like nervous, and at the same time I was like, okay, I'm ready for it. I want to go now. I don't want any more days like waiting for it.
Yeah. And then the difference with the Olympics is you were saying that you choose your position on the pontoon in this draw, in which you were one of the first ones to choose. Did you have in mind the position? Was there a tactic between the French team, or how did you choose that position?
So like I think I remember the bit where I was the year before, and it was a good thing for me. Like I was conscious that I need like to have a good position for like choosing well, and I was hoping like to be next to Emma, to be fair. So we were like trying, like I said to her before, my sport that I will choose, but unfortunately like we don't think like, oh, is Beth choosing this one? Which one are you choosing? So we're like, oh no, like we actually didn't really think properly about it. I think we were just like, I told her my spot, and I was hoping to be next to her, because like, I mean, we will not like swim on each other, we will just like help each other more. So I was hoping to be next to her, because it's a good thing for me.
And then how it was walking in that morning with the massive crowds, and then walking in the pontoon. You're probably used to walking in the pontoon in one of the first positions this time, because it's a draw. You were not one of the very first. So how was it to walk on that pontoon and seeing those crowds and the cheers and everything?
So first, like I will like talk about when we like left the hotel, and it was raining, and I was like, oh no, that's remind me Tokyo. And then I was like, okay, you've been like spending 2 years of your life in the UK. It's not like to cry because it's raining now. So I was like a bit nervous, but same time I was like, okay, there is nothing I can do. I don't want like the same like race as Tokyo, obviously. Like I don't want to live that again. So I was okay. I'm focusing on what I have to do, and the rain is just like external like thing, and I will just like work on what I can control. So yeah, I think I was still quite nervous, like just hearing people, like I was trying to avoid like all the crowd, like to stay in my bubble. And I mean, like I think it was a bit the rush is there. I don't know why, but we were in a rush. Like Emma, me, we were like all in a rush, and I think Leonie as well. So we were a bit running everywhere, like trying to warm up, and same time, like I remember just going to the transition and hearing people like screaming in the transition area, and yeah, like after, like also like I had some very anxious moment where I was next to Georgia. I thought everything was alright, and then I started to throw up like just next to her, and I was like, oh no.
Was that on the pontoon or before?
No,
before
we were
you
just
line up?
sitting there, like waiting for the lineup somewhere, like, and I was just sitting next to her. We took a nice photo together, and like I was like thinking I'm not nervous. And then like 2 minutes after, I was throwing up like very badly, and I was like, oh no, that was my breakfast, brilliant. And she was like, it's just a race, it's just a triathlon, and I was so like ashamed about me. And then I was walking like to the lineup, and I was brilliant. I just threw up all my breakfast, so I was yeah, okay, it's not ideal, but. Last year in test event, I had a food poisoning or something, and I didn't like have much in my stomach for the race. So I was, oh, I did it in test event, so I will try to fit so much on the bike, and like, I think it will be alright. So yeah, like it's what I did. But like on the lineup, I remember it was like so like weird. Like I remember like Leonie coming to me and saying like, oh, I think Jeannie's crying, and I was like, oh, what? What is that? Like why everyone like is crying or nervous? Like it's terrible. I don't want to hear that. It's supposed to be one of the best days of our life, and we're like just crying or like so nervous. It's a bit ridiculous. But then yeah, when I was called, I was one of the French, like I was the first French to be called on the lineup. So it was actually crazy, because when they called my name, like I remember all the crowd like being crazy, and like I had goosebumps, and I was like, whoa, I was not expecting that. Like I need to refocus right now, because like it's easy like to just be emotional and be like, oh, wow, like what I'm feeling right now, I think I will never feel it again. Like it was crazy, like yeah. Crazy feeling.
You had like your family and friends and people on the stands, or?
Yeah, I was trying to not think about them, because it would be an extra like pressure for me. So I was like just thinking, wow, all these people are like here for us, and they will push us like all the race for sure.
Yeah.
So I was like exciting, like to deliver a very good race also for all the crowd there.
Then let's go a little bit through the race. Like the swim, obviously, you were saying like it was challenging, but you still made a big group. I guess that you were talking about the rain, seeing some of the girls that were supposed to be fighting for being in top positions, some of them crashing, some of them falling down. I guess that doesn't help, no?
Yeah, like I think the swim, it was quite hard to tell where I was exactly. I saw there is a big gap on the first lap already, so I was like, oh, that's not looking good, because on the start, on the first buoy, I was like maybe like top 3. So I was like, wow, like I lost so much time just like trying to cross with the currents, like I was losing so many places. And yeah, when I realized I was very far at the first lap, not very far, but like still not ideal, and that Flora was like leading, I saw on the screen, I was like, that's not looking good. If you're like missing these wheels, like maybe you will never see them again. So I was like, okay, I will try like to be more clever maybe on my way, like to swim back and like on the second lap. But yeah, it was quite hard. Like I could see some girls I knew, so yeah, I was like just trying to understand where I was and trying to push until the end, but it was like quite weird feeling with the currents, I think. I was not respecting what I was saying, like going on the... I was thinking I was like completely on the side, but I was not. I was actually on the middle, and I think that's why I was a bit like struggling.
Have you rewatched that swim afterwards?
The funny thing is like, so I didn't rewatch it, but like when Emma came for some like training with me a bit in Girona, like we were like, oh, should we rewatch the race together? Because like we didn't rewatch this after the Olympics, so we watched it together, and we discovered like we did like so many mistakes, or like it was like cool also to see it like from another like side.
And then it was a long exit, including the steps from
Yeah.
the swim exit up to transition. What were you thinking? Because at that moment you see on the big screen that is exactly in front of the steps, or when you're heading to the steps, probably you saw Flora.
Yeah, I was
already.
thinking that Flora will just go away on her own. Like I was like, oh, I don't know, like if someone is with her at the moment, but I knew like I had still some good girls like Georgia, like not far from me. So yeah, like it was good information for me seeing that I have some other girl like still like very strong. So yeah, like just try my best on the bike.
Then walk us a little bit through the bike course, and how was it to like ride with those crowds that were sometimes like 10 lines of people cheering, and I guess that you could hear that.
I think I was like too focused on the bike that I couldn't even hear anything. Like I was like hearing, but sometimes I was like not actually realizing that. I was more like trying, like for me it was very like stressful seeing more like all the girls like crashing next to me, because so many times I was just next to the crash or like just behind, and I was like never like, I never seems like worry about it, but sometimes it was because I was like, okay, I need to look at like the way I'm going myself. Like I can't look at them like because they're crashing, because I will crash as well. So I was just trying to like pretend everything was okay, and I was like, okay, I worked so many times on technical, on skills and stuff, so I just have to do what I know. And I knew like I was slower than the other people on the bike, like technical, but yeah, like. Yeah, I was making just my life a bit harder every time to come back, but I was lucky enough like to not crash.
And then the moment that you made it to T2 safe and in a pack, so knowing that that was your moment, what was going through your mind on that second transition?
On second transition, I think I was not thinking much. I was like, okay, I was expecting like Beth, Emma, like Georgia, Flora, maybe like to be more like pushing at the front. But sometimes I was okay. I took my watch because like I know like sometimes I can start very fast, but yeah, I think it was not really like working on the day. My GPS wasn't very good, so I had like very weird feeling. I didn't know if I was like feeling good or not, like because my pace was not relevant on my watch. So I was okay. I don't know which pace we are, but I think we are quite fast, because like I was actually like struggling, and I think I might say like yeah, every time like I was dropped or like from Julie, and then sometimes a bit with Beth, I would say sometimes like we are a bit struggling to stay in that pace. So I was just like trying like I was telling myself I will never give up. Like I did so many hard sessions in Formula where I was like actually like very very close to like give up or something, and I was always like no, you have to like stay here, because like in the past I think it was my mind was like stopping me the most, and now like I worked so much on it that I was like okay, it's just a very painful moment, but after like it's like between all the people we will want it the most.
And when was the moment that you thought, okay, I've got this is mine, I'm gonna win this Olympics?
I think it's when I saw one of our coach, Pascal. He was like on the Champs-Élysées, like just before turning left, and I was, I could just. It's the only time I actually really saw someone from the federation and hear him, and he was like, they are starting to be in pain behind. Like you can make the gap right now. Like it's now, and I was like. Oh, I was like feeling some goosebump again, and then like all the people and stuff. I was starting to hear more people like being crazy, and I was like, I don't really know what will happen, because I knew like I had a good finish normally, like if I'm not cramping, obviously. But I knew I was like working a lot on my finish, that I was not maybe one of the maybe slowest for the end. So I was okay, maybe I should wait more, but same time like I think I didn't think at all. I was just like going for it, because it was when I was like pushed by the crowd.
Mhm.
So I think I was just like, wow, like it's make me like fly right now. And then I was, oh, I'm a bit far now. So it was weird because I was like just pushed by the crowds and by my feelings. And then sometime I was like, wow, I realized I was like 1.5K or something. I don't even remember, but it was still quite a long way. And I was like, maybe it's too early. But you don't really think at this moment. I think it's just like how you feel, and yeah, you try.
And I guess that you've run quite a few times with Beth and pretty much know each other, but not so much with Julie, no? So,
Yeah,
so
that's
was
why,
that
like-
a little bit
Like
an unknown factor or something? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, like it was like I didn't really know what she was able to do. Like I didn't know like if she, because she was running very, very, very fast and pushing the pace like since the start. Like every time I was trying to go at the front, she was like catching and going at the front again. So I was like, okay, I'm not even able to do the pace myself because it was like very high pace, and I was sometimes getting a bit dropped. So I was like, okay, like I don't know how she will react if I'm like sprinting. Like I didn't really know like what she will do. So that's why when I was feeling it, I was maybe she will be behind me, and like okay, but maybe at least we'll be just two person if I'm like starting to like, because I saw Beth sometimes was also a bit drop like me. So I was like, okay, maybe if I do it now, I will have just maybe Julie following me. I don't know, but I just didn't want to check back. Like I was like, okay, no. You're like on your way like to like accelerate, you can't slow down anymore. Like it's just like you have to continue on this pace.
And did you ever look back?
No, I was like, you can't look back. I was just hoping that I had a gap, because like also the crowd was just being crazy. So I was like hearing like what the crowd was saying, like if I could hear like people like cheering for Beth, like also. So I was just trying like with not turning around, and then like I saw on the dead turn before the end, I saw a bit the gap, and I was like, okay, normally it's fine enough, but I will not slow down until the end because we never know. And yeah, I think it was just like I couldn't even realize. I think I was like so focused on what I was doing, and I need to cross this line, like, and after I will like allow myself to realize after that.
So what happened after you crossed that line? What was your first thought?
Well, I had the tape, like first I had the tape in my hand, and I was like, is it really happening? Like I was like, I didn't wake up this morning like and think I will win the Olympics, because so many times like in the past, like every time I was doing a big event, I never won a world championships. I never won like a big events. Like every time in junior, like under 23, I was second. And I was like thinking I was not someone who can like perform on a day because I was too stressed. And then the fact that I did it, I was like, I can't believe that. Like, I can't believe it's happening now. Like the race I was like dreaming for like so many years. Like I can't believe it's now and it's done. And I was with the tape, and I was like looking Paris 2024 on the floor, and I was, wow, like this is happening. And it was just crazy because like I was not ready for like. Sometimes I was ready to race, but not ready like because I was thinking something will happen to me, like something will happen, because in the past every time like it was not like really smiling to me for big events. So yeah.
But do you think that you probably were ready for what came afterwards, like for all
No, definitely not. Like it's what I was thinking. Like I was thinking, I need to realize I need to see my family. Like I need to see like how they are right now, because no one knew where they were. There is so many like fan club. I remember there is Emma fan club, Leonie. There is so many fan club, and mine, it was my family, and they were like in the crowd somewhere, just like hiding, you know. So I didn't know where they were, and I was, I need to see them, like to see all that, like the emotion and stuff. And then I didn't see them because it was all the media stuff, and it was very long, and I was feeling very tired. Like I was thinking, wow, like I was not ready for that. Like,
and when were you able to actually realize or hug your family and
yeah, I think
like,
it when I saw my family crying, I was like, just thinking about that's making me emotional.
I was going to say like was that the moment when you just cried and
Yeah, like-
released all that pressure?
I just remembering that is make me cry. I think like I was
Mhm.
just like so emotional, like just seeing them.
Mhm.
They were like so many people. Like my brother was in tears, my cousin same. Like my grandparents, I can't tell you about them. They were like crying as well. So it was like yeah, I was like I don't really want to cry. That's making me very very ashamed right now. But yeah, I think it was a nice moment. Yeah.
Good. And how were the celebrations, party, and how was? I guess that not a lot those days because you had the mixed relay a few
Yeah.
days afterwards, but
I know the like 2 nights after maybe I didn't sleep well. I think I was too like excited after the race, like because I was starting to realizing a bit more maybe. But same time I was like, okay, I need to refocus for the relay, and it was hard because I just wanted like to realize myself what I've just done. But I knew that Pierre and Emma had the 4th place and that they really wanted a medal. So I was like, okay, like Leo and me had our medal, but we need to like bring another one like for the people who didn't have one. So yeah.
And I guess that was a little bit a disappointing or bittersweet moment for you at the Olympics, but your leg at the mixed relay, even though like the crash that we honestly thought that might have taken the French team almost out of the race, but you brought back the team, well, all of the team brought back the chances, but especially like that swim. I remember that swim in which everyone was saying like you cannot go straight from the buoy to the exit. You should go close to the boat.
I'm never listening. That's the issue. Like, I'm always doing like what I feel, and then on the time I was like, oh, surely I can still catch up like at the middle, and I was like, obviously not catching up. So I knew I didn't have the best swim on the relay, but after that I tried like to have like still strong bike and run, but I think I didn't do my best race ever as well, like on the relay. I'm not gonna lie, like I knew like I was not in the same shape as I was for the individual, because like I think my mind was still like on the race that I've done, and like on the like excitement, like I don't know, like I was just like, it was hard to refocus and be like rested as much as I was before the individual race. So it was something I was a bit disappointed about myself, but then like same time on the day like we couldn't have done much more than we've done, like and it's like the fact like in the race the crash can happen, and we're unlucky.
And celebrations afterwards, or what have you done? Have you done any special treat to yourself, or?
No, like I was like thinking, I was expecting myself after Olympics like to have like so many parties, like enjoying like all week. Like I was like thinking, I prefer to enjoy in the day than actually in the night. So I was like, okay, I had a nice like after party on the Monday, just after the relay. But it was not massive one. We were just like Georgia, Emma, Leonie, me, some people, some of our friends. So it was not many people, but sometimes like it was what I needed, just like being with like close friends and like just enjoying a bit ourselves. And we came back, and after I was like, okay, I have so many things to do this week. I want to see some sport. I want to see, because I didn't have the opportunity to see some other sport in Rio first, because like we were at the end of the schedule. And same time in Tokyo we had to leave just after the race. So I was okay, I want to enjoy some other sports this time. So I will sleep still some. And like I was enjoying more myself on the week.
And last question of this, like, are you ready to go back again and do another Olympic cycle? Yeah,
definitely. Like I was like, I think it just make my confidence like higher, and I'm like, okay, I just achieved that what I was like hoping for like for so many years, like it was my dream, and then I achieved it, and I'm like, I don't want to stop here, because sometimes like now it's just everything is bonus. Like everything I'm doing, I'm not like as stressed as before. I'm like, I just prove myself, like so it's different feeling. I still want to go like and try to have the best career like I can have. And I think what is like weird is like I thought after that I will be like what I'm doing now, but then you always want more. Like it was very hard to come back to a race in super tri just after the Olympics, but the next race, the second one, I was already like, I don't want to be here. I want to be like still at the top. Like I don't want like, yeah.
Yeah, like going back.
So it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.